going on, guys? We are here at Agile Auto. Listening, jamming over here. Anthony loves his remixes of a little reggae. No soca, no soca, but he loves his reggae, boy. So we are here today on the alignment rack. Since we just got the car corner balance, we're gonna go ahead and replace the front right tie rod, and then just double check to make sure that we have everything set up well. The only major change or only change that I'm really going to do is go ahead and add a little bit of camber in the front, and then tie rod, and then lastly we're going to go ahead and install this liquid honey. I guess honey is a liquid, but god damn it, you know what I mean. So this is the Honey Badger Diff oil for the OSG. Yes, you are looking at 250 weight, which is ridiculous. Look at that, you can't even freaking hear it moving around in here. It's like molasses. So yeah, we're gonna install that. Apparently all I had was the meager 175 oil inside the car. So yeah, that's it. We guys over there actually tuning out a WRX. So they're doing some tuning over there, doing some tweaking on another little track car over there, just installing the roll cage and doing some minor work here and there. Unfortunately, the SLC car is totaled. They had a wreck at the last weekend, and yeah, frame damage, and the car is pretty much done. So back to the drawing board. They'll make things better, faster, I'm sure. And so next season they'll be back on track, is what I assume. If not, hey, I doubt if it'll get it back online for this season, but hey, if it does, it'll be pretty awesome. So all right, so I'm gonna get to work here and see what other crap I can get into. Cheers. All right, so we got parts here. We have this part right here, which is the actual tie rod. Let's see if you can see here. So I got everything from Mazda, but apparently they decided, hey, you have to pay for every little tinkering of stuff, being nuts, bolts, boots, all that stuff. You actually have to pay for it separately, and I did not know that. And by the time I figured it all out, it was kind of late to order things. So keep in mind, if you go into a Mazda dealership, that when you get all your tie rod bits, you got to ask for the nuts. And apparently they're telling me it's like 18 bucks, and it'll take they don't have it in stock, so they would have to order it, and it wouldn't come in time. So this is the end rod, the tie rod, the end portion of it. So as you can see, there is no nut there. I'm just going to replace the whole that assembly, and then also for the inner piece, as you can see here, does not come with that nut. So I'm going to have to reuse this nut. This nut was 18 bucks, and then that nut right there is probably a universal one. We'll see if the guys here have any available nuts around if I need to replace that. But the top nut here looks like it on the end rod. The old one looks like it'll be fine, and I can reuse that one. This one here looks a little beaten up, but as long as the threads are fine, I'm just going to have to reuse it. So I'm going to take off the boot, or loosen all this stuff up first, try and see what's up, and then take off the boot. The boot just has a little clip on the back side, just a little clamp. So I just have to, pinch the pinch clamp. Gotta love when they're doing tuning. So there's just a pinch clamp here. I'm gonna have to take this off and then check out to see how it's held on the front side. Try not to damage the boot so I can get this whole thing off. So we'll see what's up in a second. So it takes a 17 to get the top nut off here. So I'm just using, a ratchet. And that'll help get this guy off on the top, or at least loosen it. You do have to take the cotter pin out in order to get the whole thing out, which I already did. This guy right here is a 20, but what's happening is that the nut appears to be seized onto the inner tie rod portion of it. So I'm just going to go ahead and take off the outer tie rod, spin this guy off, and then I'm going to vise here and then put in put a rounded 20 on it to try and get off the nut and see if that nut is salvageable, or to see if the Mazda dealership around here may have that particular nut. So that's where I'm at right now, and then we can go ahead and take off the boot and so forth. Booyakasha! We have bad ideas. Ah, it's finally fucking off. This little guy on here. So I used, when you saw the impact, it was a 21 on the original. I took that off along with hitting like a vice grip on here. The boot comes off. On the back side of the inner, there is basically a captive a washer that keeps this guy on. It's pretty soft metal, so what I'm going to do, already pried up the top side, and so I'm just going to do that with the bottom here. So this guy sit on there, as you can see, a nice perfect fit. Then this has the notches for it to just kind of go through and then it'll lock into place. And then from there you just get a ½ inch. Righty tighty, lefty loosey. So you have to pull on this while you're doing it, so that way it can come out nice and easy. And I'm going to take this guy off just to kind of show you where we're at. So there's some threads in there. Just kind of take this guy out. So right now it looks to, this side is looking good, but obviously the other end is a lot worn. Looks like they took a torch to it at some point. So I'm just going to go ahead and clean this stuff up, and then I'm going to put in the new tie rod. So I'm going to just get all this crap out of here, and there seems to be like some corrosion and so forth, but other than that it looks pretty darn clean. This again is just a captive washer. The other side is being pinned in, so this guy doesn't move. We just got to make sure that we close them back on here. It just allows this not to just start spinning real free, for no damn reason. Alright, so one thing that we just noticed is that this guy, try to put it in the light, had a little bit of red Loctite on it. So what I went ahead and just put some on the new guy, so that way we are matching. Yay! So let's see what's up here. Go ahead and start getting this guy in. And as far as the red Loctite, just literally a drop on it. That's it. Nothing crazy. Then I'm gonna go ahead and put on this guy. And we'll go ahead and tighten this sucker up. This tool, oh my gosh, makes life so easy. I can already see this being a pain in the ass if I did not have it. Or should I say, if Agile didn't have it. And since it has that red Loctite in, and we're putting on these little pins, it should be alright. So what I'm going to do now is just go ahead and bend these pins down. I'm just going to tap those guys down. Use any means necessary at this point. Alright, so to get these guys in, just use kind of any adjustable wrench, and once you pry it down just enough, just go ahead and just squeeze them in.
What?
So it's soft enough that you don't have to worry about it. And once you squeeze them all in, which I have, this guy doesn't turn anywhere. So without excessive force. So, and once that Loctite just settles, then it's definitely not going anywhere. So we'll be good to go. So that guy's in. Next thing I need to do is go ahead and get my boot on. Inspect my boot. There's no tears anywhere. And I still have that wire on there. So I'm just going to double check, make sure there's no shards or anything. This moves nice and freely now as far as in here. So there we go. Push this guy on and in. Make sure my boot seats here. And then I have my little clamp. Where the hell did I put it? Great. Got this guy here. Now I'll just go on. I'll just use my vice / adjustable wrench to put this guy on. It was pointing towards the back, so I'm just going to do the same. So the front side is on. I'm going to go ahead and work the back side. On the back side here, just got to make sure that it actually fits on right. It'll kind of just snap into place, and then you're going to get essentially your wire here. I'm going to put this guy on, and then this guy just really kind of just twists in place. So I'm going to take the gloves off so I have some dexterity. Now that that's in place, the boots aren't going anywhere. You're good to go there. Time to just put on my nut. I'm going to be doing the alignment here on the rack, so I wasn't too worried about it, quite honestly. And then on this guy, this is the new one. I'm going to go ahead and just throw this guy on. So actually the first thing that you should do is either measure it, or at this point you can always just measure the passenger or the driver's side before I actually mount this guy in. I'm going to measure the driver's side just to see what the spacing is like, and then I'll go ahead and put this in and see how close it is to where it is right now. So that is actually where it needs to be. That was a good guesstimate on my part. So what I did is that I just went to where the boot actually mounts, and then where the tie rod actually hits, and just a little bit, and there. So that should at least get me close enough. So I didn't tighten this all the way, so that way I can obviously just break that loose. Now just turning my hub here. This sometimes can just tighten it up just enough. This you may need to just move it just enough to get inside the hub nice and neat. There you go, that's now in. Got my nut. I'm gonna get this guy on here. And this was a 17. So I'm just gonna go ahead and tighten this guy up. And then I'll go ahead and put in my cotter pin. Just put my cotter pin in. Actually, just double check to make sure that this is tight. That's good there. And then the cotter. You don't have to over tighten it because the cotter pin is actually here. So just put this guy in and then flare that out, and then we should be there. We go. That's it for the tie rod. That's in. Took me long enough just because I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I'm just winging it, Tony. So that should be it. It went pretty well. All right, so here is the final numbers. So up front, because we raised the front ride height, the max camber that I can actually get is negative 3.1. Caster is set at basically 7, and I tightened those up. It did shift down just a bit from before. The rear, I have pretty much 0 toe when we're talking about the 10th degree here. 0 toe and negative 24 degrees camber in the rear. So just the fronts, I can't get any more camber than I want. I wanted more. I wanted a 3.6, but that means I have to lower the front ride height, which I'm not fitting to do, quite honestly. So yeah, that is it. We're gonna go ahead and put in the OSG oil, and we'll see what's up with that honey oil. All right, guys. So we're about to put in the old OSG, freaking 80 weight, 8250 for goodness sakes. Again, it is super honey badger oil. So first we need to take off the bolts in there. So I'm using an extension and a 24 millimeter. So 24 millimeter to break loose the drain bolts, the filler bolt at the top and the drain bolt at the bottom. So already broke loose the top one, and then you cannot use the extension for the bottom. You have to use the extension only for the top, and there's a nice little hole for it in the subframe. So, getting this guy on there, put this out of the way, break it loose, slide this guy over. So just go ahead and release both the top and the bottom. And I don't really see any shavings on here, which is a good thing. Thank goodness. Alright, so top is on my right, bottom is on my left. So good old blue fluid. Apparently it was the Motol, but I didn't think that Motol was blue, but who knows. So we'll let that guy drain out. And then when that's all done, we'll go ahead and put in the honey bag. Gotta pop the top. Ooh-wee. And this is regular color oil. This is not any of that blue stuff, so not quite sure what that was about. Sticking this guy in there, it barely fits. Have to put this guy over here, because that barely fits. And that guy, and we're pumping, and we're, oh my god. Look at that. The juices are flowing. This is a man's pump. Ah, thick piece of shit. Get this guy in here. So it really only takes one can of the stuff, because I only had a few more pumps left, and there you go. It filled it up. So that's that. We're good now. We'll see how everything goes. Found out I cannot max out the max camber that I can put on the car is 3.1. It is not 3.6 because of the ride height. It's ride height dependent. Even with the bushings on there, I just cannot get it. Before I was able to get about 3.2 is what I had it set to last time, and the car was a little bit lower, and I just put it to 3.2, but I can get 3.4 at the time. Now that I raised the car overall probably about 1/8 of an inch, it actually, now I lost a little bit of degree in camber. I could have got it to 3.2. I got the sensor to see it there just for a second, and as soon as I start tightening up everything, it'll just go away. So I just said fuck it, 3.1 is where it's at. I'll just leave it at there. So yeah, this is the second to last alignment check. I'm going to check it one more time before we hit nationals, before we hit the road to nationals, and just make sure that everything's nice and good. We got the test and tune coming up in 2 weeks for DC, so we're going to go ahead and just knock out, scrub these in this next weekend, and then at the school do a little bit of runs just to get a heat cycle in. Then we have the event on Sunday that we're going to go ahead and just obviously competition them in, and they'll be scrubbed in, and then we'll get a chance to feel to see how, hey, as soon as you're scrubbing the tires, how well do they perform after a heat cycle. So that'll be interesting to see now that we have some nice sticky tires, alignments all set and so forth. And then the second set that we have, we'll bring those out at the test and tune, heat cycle those, and probably just depending on how these feel, if they feel good and not squirmy, if they need some runs in the national set, then we'll have the national set scrubbed in a little bit for one of the events, so that way we can run those for the national events. But we'll figure it all out. It's kind of weird having two sets right now, but it is what it is. So thanks guys for tuning in. We knocked out some stuff, and thanks again to Agile Auto. They love the talk, and good guys. Come out here, get your stuff worked on. Again, they do corner balancing also. They have the alignment rack that you see. My scales that I have over there, they already have the whole shebang. So come on in, and then they'll treat you well. All right, catch you later.